It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff and Stacy are here, and we have lots to talk about. Why did Facebook give local news $100 million? What's going on with the weather business? And the sad story of an astrophysicist and some very powerful magnets. Don't try this at home. It's all coming up next on Twig. This Week in Google comes to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. Stay in control when it comes to your company's access points and authentication. LastPass makes enterprise-level security simple. Check out lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 553, recorded Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. Denies further magnets. This Week in Google is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost, because everything is online. Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. And get the plan shipped to your door free at mintmobile.com/twig. And by LastPass. From access to authentication to passwords, LastPass manages every entry point to your business so you can mitigate risk while improving employee productivity. Visit lastpass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. Hey, Stacy is going to be on a Ask Me Anything this Friday. We've been doing these, this is our third one. It's kind of fun, just a way to get together on Fridays. I won't be part of this one because I did the last two, but this week it's Florence Ion from All About Android, Renee Ritchie from MacBreak Weekly, Paul Thurrott from Windows Weekly, and our very own Stacey Higginbotham. 11:30 a.m. Pacific, Friday, April 3rd. You can join us. Ask Me Anything. The stream is at twit.tv/live. You can ask on Twitter. You can ask in our chat room. Stacey, you're going to have a lot of fun. It's a really fun, relaxed couple of hours talking about, whatever. And then I think next week we're going to start doing game night. We're working on the details of that. We'll probably move the AMA from 11:30. Well, we might still do it, but we're going to do game night, I think, 5 to 7 p.m. East, Pacific. That'll be 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, starting a week from Friday. That's going to be a lot of fun. I am definitely playing in that one. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, or as somebody said, we should call it Google Gaga, the show where we cover everything having to do with Google, Facebook, Twitter, the Mediaverse, all of the verses. Stacey Higginbotham is here. Stacey on IoT.com. She does the IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel, and we love having you on. And you look chilly. You look chilly. You're wearing down.
Oh, it was super cold today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 36 degrees. It hailed yesterday.
Oh.
Spring has been interesting.
Locusts are coming next.
Yes.
My daughter's very upset about the locusts, Jeff.
There are locusts?
In Africa.
Oh. Well, they had them in, didn't they have a grasshopper infestation in Las Vegas? I think they did. There were locusts.
No, but there's goats taking over a Welsh town. Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh, it's the
they're
greatest.
coming down from the mountain. Yeah.
A whole herd of goats just took over the town, and every night they're there, and they're just eating the bushes and having a high old time because there's nobody to bother them.
So it's related to the coronavirus.
Yeah, yeah.
There's nobody on the streets. That's Jeff Jarvis, professor of journalism at CUNY.
An old goat. That's
an old goat with me. He is, of course, at buzzmachine.com. He's also at the City University of New York, the Town Knight
Craig Newmark
School for Entrepreneurial Journalism. All right.
First, how are you guys doing? How you doing?
Good. That's good. I think we should start a show like that. How are you doing, Stacey?
I chant Jason Howell was so helpful when I was anxious. So you already know this is going to be bad because I'm like, bring it anxious. But today I woke up and I was feeling pretty anxious, and I'm chanting Jason Howell's anxiety is a wave. You just got to ride it. So I am a little down today, but I am glad to be here with y'all. And someone actually said that they found the show helpful, and they sent me a DM telling me that. And
thank you.
So for that person, I'm like, hey, I might be doing something good. So, that actually not got me out of bed this morning, but it makes me feel good sitting here. So
I think both your shows. I think podcasts in particular right now are, I think, valuable because we're the people, if you've been listening to our shows, who've been with you all along, and now we're all in it together. And I think that's certainly my goal. Jeff, how are you? How are you doing?
I kind of melted yesterday. I wrote about this last night. I think it was 9/11/19 is the name of the post. COVID-19 9/11, and the death toll passing 9/11 just kind of brought back the PTSD of that.
Well, and you're in New York.
Better today.
You're in New Jersey in your home, but you work in Times Square.
My city is New York.
Yeah,
and it hurts to see my city brought down again.
And to see the pictures of, and it's on the 9/11 site, the Whale terminal, the train station that you go into,
right,
when you come into town, empty.
Oh yeah,
wow. Just empty.
Yeah.
But
I almost want to drive into the city just to drive around, but I think that would probably depress me.
That'll make you sad. That'll make you sad.
It'll feel like a Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah.
Like, you damn dirty apes, you did it. But of course, we did it. We did it to ourselves.
And Jeff, it won't be totally empty because there are still people running around, and then you'll get angry.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true too. That's true.
I asked Mary Jo because
I think you should meditate and stay home.
Mary Jo Foley has an apartment. It's roughly Midtown, I think. And I said, do you walk around? Because I'm fascinated by the pictures of the empty streets in Manhattan. I thought it'd be kind of cool to walk around. She said, you can't really walk around with it and preserve social distancing. There's still too many people out in the streets. And the sidewalks themselves, you're not going to walk in the middle of the street. It's not that deserted. If you could walk down the middle of the street, maybe. The other thing,
a friend of mine lives on the Upper East Side and said that he just put on Facebook, pro talk for walking the dog, go the wrong way on a one-way street in the middle of the street because there's hardly any cars. And then you can get out of the way.
Right.
So people are trying to figure out how to do this.
Right.
So how are you, boss?
Oh, the funny thing is my routine is pretty much the same as it was before. We're doing this out of a little bit different studio, but I'm glad I decided to come to work, because I do better psychologically if I'm out of the house. Poor Lisa is in the house, and it's really hard for her. She's just sitting at the kitchen table all day.
Working, too.
Working. And so one of the reasons I come here is to get out of her hair. But also by coming in, I eliminate the need for another technical director. So we're trying to keep the staff requirements as low as possible. And because I'm working in my own office, nobody else here, and I'm switching myself, I feel relatively safe. It's psychologically difficult, but not. I don't feel like I've been too challenged yet. I'm worried as this goes on, and I think we have at least another month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Cuomo said today that we'll hit the peak in the model, the average of the models at the end, the peak. So it means we still got a long way to go down from there. Yeah. At the end of April in New York, and it's going to hit other parts of the country later. Do you think that San Francisco really did?
Yeah, I think
manage it.
And again, it's hard to tell because we don't test. But the Kinsa thermometer that I showed you, the internet-connected thermometer, and there are millions of them out there. You can look at a county-by-county breakdown, and they're not measuring COVID. That's one of the benefits of this. Right. They're merely measuring temperatures. But they have what is considered normal this time of year based on flu and other infections. And they have for a while, San Francisco was trending just above normal, and then you can see where shelter-in-place started. And it is now well below normal in terms of
because they're so damn chill in San Francisco.
Well, no, but just because you're not getting the flu. You're not getting other illnesses.
Yeah, you're just, when you're home, you're home. I will say.
So I think that's happened in this area, although our cases and numbers are going up. But our numbers, Sonoma County where we are, it's like 44 people have it. One death. I mean, it's very small numbers. Go ahead, Stacey.
No, I was going to say Seattle seems to be, we social distanced earlier, and apparently we're never social to begin with. So we're doing, I am gratified that our numbers seem to be, our increase in numbers seem to be leveling off. So
you were the first hotspot. You were.
Yeah, you were.
We were,
So
but
that's-
man, New York is. I think of you a lot, Jeff. I'm very concerned for you.
Thank you.
So
Well, and
I saw a map today that was interesting. That and there's many interpretations, but if you look at the spots in New York City by zip code, one theory is that it's people who have to travel the farthest way on the subway. Another theory is that it's the lower income spots. But you can see where the Queens is the hotspot in the hotspot, and the big fear here is how disproportionate. I'm so lucky as hell. I'm out here in the burbs. I got grass and trees around me. That's what I'm. So I've got social distancing, thanks to nature around me. I'm very lucky. I'm fortunate, but people in New York who have to go to work still. Yeah, it's hard.
I think some of us think, oh, well, how am I doing? And because my situation, like mine, and really kind of yours too, because we're all, we kind of work at home, isn't so different. Yours maybe, Jeff, because you don't go into class, but there's more to it than that. And I think this is what's going to start to hit us. It's what's happening in New York as we see those images and we see those numbers. And there was an article in the Harvard Business Review. I've not referred to it before. You've probably seen it. By Scott Baranato, that discomfort you're feeling is grief. And,
that was good.
Yeah, they talked to a guy named David Kessler, who is the world's, they say, foremost expert on grief, co-wrote a book with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross on grief and grieving. And his latest book adds, the 5 stages that Kubler-Ross talked about of grief. He added a 6th stage, which is finding meaning. And I have to say, having gone through something very slightly similar in San Francisco in the 80s with the AIDS epidemic, that was one thing that AIDS activists told me, was that it was also, as horrible as it was, there was meaning at the end of it, and that there was learning at the end of it, and that the community going through that suffering got something out of it. The Kessler has founded a site called grief.com, and in the interview, he said, we're feeling grief, and some of it is anticipatory grief as a country and even as a world about what's happening, about the people who are dying, about the illnesses that are happening. And that resonated with me. I don't know if that's how you guys feel too, but that kind of explained why I have this kind of lump in my stomach all the time. Yep. It's whoa.
Yeah, that's. I think that was. I was complaining earlier about having my chest be constantly tight, and I think part of that is I just constantly feel like I'm about to cry.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't quite cry because it doesn't feel.
It's
real.
It's a whole bunch. What I wrote last night is I just realized this is 9/11 in slow motion.
Yeah. And worse in a way, you were at 9/11. You were in it.
I was there, and I made decisions, some bad, like staying there. And now I feel like, if I'd gone a few feet one way or the other, I wouldn't be here now. Yeah. As the tower came down.
So you have PTSD. And you have a severe.
Well, I got diagnosed with it recently. Yeah. At Bellevue of all places. It was attenuated, but now I know what's happening. It's coming back. And every decision you make, you touch that doorknob, you go to that grocery store, you take in the mail and don't wash your hands, which I got in trouble for yesterday. Oh God, I just did it. And it's not just me; it's my family and my community, and so that's with us constantly. There's a responsibility, an uncertainty, a powerlessness. And to your point of meaning, Leo, I think that. One thing, we can get things out of this if we try. We can get caring for our healthcare system. We can get caring for communities that aren't being cared for. We can figure out how to be better connected with the world and to share more, or we'll screw it up. We'll see.
We have, as a society, gone through the stages of grief. There was denial in January and February. Yeah. There was a lot of denial. There was anger. There still is for a lot of people. Anger at the government for not acting fast enough, or anger
I'm angry
at authorities for saying, you're making me stay home. I don't want to stay home. There's bargaining, like, hey, if I do this for 2 weeks, can I go out next week? There's sadness. There's acceptance. There's meaning. He also talks about, those are the traditional stages, the Kubler-Ross stages of grief, but he also talks about anticipatory grief, which is more like the anxiety that you were feeling, Stacy. He says, our minds begin to show us images. My parents getting sick. We see the worst scenarios. That's our minds being protective. Our goal is not to ignore those images. Don't try to make them go away. Your mind won't let you do that. It's painful to try to force it. The goal is to find balance in the things you're thinking. If you feel the worst image taking shape, make yourself think of the best image. And I think that's why it's nice to think that maybe our society will come through this wiser, maybe even more equitable.
I think we should be starting to talk. And Kevin and I, we introduced a segment on our show. So this tomorrow's show will be the second one, where we talk about what we want the world to look like afterwards.
Perfect.
So the first one, now I don't even remember. Oh, we talked about privacy in medical devices. The second one, we talked about broadband. Next time, I'm going to talk about electrification. But we do have, and especially with the administration talking now about infrastructure investment, we do have a chance to build maybe not a new world. I mean, the old world, but that things are going to change. And I think it's really important for us not just to say it's going to change and, it could be awesome. We need to start taking the steps. We need to articulate what we want that to look like and try to find concrete actions to take for that. So that might be something as simple as saying, writing to your congressman about the importance of taking the FCC's E-rate program and making that, using that to run broadband access to people in rural areas. Or it could be something as difficult as trying to electrify your entire home. There's so many options.
I think that's a good way to handle it. I'm really pleased that you're doing that. I'll have to start listening to that segment because that's a really good way to think about it is, well, here's the opportunity.
I should probably write these down.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I have one thing I wish. No more April Fool's jokes ever again.
Amen. I screamed this morning and said, don't you dare today. Don't you dare pull that crap.
I mean, you could make a case on the one hand, maybe we all need a little levity, a little laugh, but there's nothing funny about April Fool's jokes.
No.
Wait, I will tell you, and this is not technically an April Fool's joke, but I tweeted this out. Let's see if I can find it. Janelle, what's her name? I'm going to come up with it. Janelle Shane. So at Janelle C. Shane on Twitter. I used the neural net GPT-2 to generate some April Fool's pranks.
Oh.
And it is quite delightful. So here, let me, I don't know if you can find her.
What's the Twitter handle? Could you spell it?
At Janelle, here, I'm going to drop it in the notes.
No, just spell the last name. Jane's?
Oh, Shane. Shane. Janelle C. Shane.
Janelle C. Shane. See if I can find her. Yes, I think I did. She blogs at aiweirdness.com. Is she like,
yes,
this is her thing? Is like,
yes, this is she. Do you not follow her? She's so fun.
No, following right now. Yeah.
It's a needed laugh.
So she's an expert in artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, and her shtick is using GANs, generative adversarial networks. So she feeds things to neural networks, and then some of it's just humorous, but some of it's...
Here's a few. This is her wild prank fest based on GAN AI. Colorfully wrapped pasta with sweet pickles in a hot bath. Ha! Skittles... Oh, apparently she did it too, which is hysterical. Skittles on wood skewers luring yet more Skittles to their skewery doom. Red fridge spiders. And she did them. That's the funny thing. Wow.
Yeah, or this woman did them. So, yeah, these are delightful. Like tear up a roll of toilet paper and make toast out of it.
Oh, I see. This is another woman, Mika McKinnon, who actually made them.
Yeah, so like...
Oh, my God.
My favorite is put your fear of insects in a lemon.
Put your fear of insects where?
Into a lemon.
Toilet paper toast with shredded toilet paper toppings. Radishes festooned with part of my inexplicably enormous stash of plastic bread clips. Okay. This is good. I don't know if all of these are GANs, but they're very funny. That's cool. Yeah, so there is some value to April Fools. I always
no, there's not.
Those of us in this business wake
like
up with
dark
dread.
Mode.
Yeah,
it's the dark mode of humor. It should be eliminated.
So Google decided
is that
not
moral
to.
panic over April Fool's
Google
jokes?
decided
it's just
not
good
to.
taste.
Normally,
civilization.
Normally, Google, as you know, really kind of goes over the top. And of the last few years, they've calmed down. According to an internal email obtained by Business Insider, Google will, quote, take the year off from that tradition out of respect for all those fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Our highest goal right now is to be helpful to people, so let's save the jokes for next April, which will undoubtedly be a whole lot brighter than this one. We've already stopped any centralized April Fool's efforts, but realize there may be smaller projects with teams we don't know about. Please suss out those efforts and make sure your teams pause on any jokes they may have planned internally or externally.
Like, don't you dare.
Don't you dare. I am much relieved because I wake up with dread on April 1st, thinking, what do I have to sort through before I do the shows today? Didn't see anything.
I saw one.
There was a
Josh.ai
Josh.ai did one.
Which one, Stacey?
Josh.ai did one.
Yeah.
It was silly. Not silly. It was just dumb.
Silly's okay. I don't want one that's plausible or breathtaking.
Well, that's what happened to
really
me is because we're huge Roger Federer fans of the house, and I saw one report that said he was going to announce on Twitter that he was retiring. And that would be huge news. I couldn't find it anywhere else.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
So why is this happening? My wife said, you idiot, it's April 1st. I said, right.
I don't want to see any Apple buys Microsoft or anything like that. So this is Josh.ai. Is this real? Or is this the April Fool's joke?
It's a voice control for homes, but their AI or their joke was something about politics.
Maybe
they took it down.
So this is the mistake Josh made, because I thought this was sophisticated AI
real.
for the luxury home was the joke.
No, that's what they do.
Okay, see, this is why you shouldn't do April Fools.
Yeah.
Because now I'm going to think of them as a joke. What do you mean, AI for the luxury home? What the hell?
They provide voice control for Crestron.
So you have to have fancy
for calling
stuff.
the butler. That's what it's for.
Jeeves.
That little button is just like that button old homes used to have under their dining room tables where they would ring the servants' quarters.
Or I want a nice taffeta. I want a carpet
bell chain,
bell pull.
Bell pull. That's it. What are they?
So apparently they took their April Fools off.
They may have. They must have.
They did.
Yeah, it was something about like you call your politician.
Yeah, it's not on there.
Yeah. Okay.
I think showing some taste. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to be the Onion right now, doesn't it?
Oh man, the Onion's doing a great job.
Are they?
Yeah, they know how to do it.
That's satire.
Plus, it's not. It's the Onion.
Yeah, and there's room for satire in this world, I guess.
I'm now on the Onion. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you saw the same one I saw. Yeah.
Okay, so I rest my case.
No, Leo, don't go there. No,
I won't go on screen, but I got to go see what you're talking about. Oh, dear. Okay. That's pretty funny.
But it is funny.
That's pretty funny because it's the weighted blanket thing.
Yeah.
Have any of you tried that weighted blanket for anxiety?
I have one. Yes, my
Does it
daughter
work?
sleeps under one. She loves it.
It gives
and
her
when I have
reassuring.
migraines,
yeah.
I will sleep under one too, and they're
nice.
It's nice.
How heavy is it?
Hers is only 15 pounds because when I got it for her, there's a ratio like you want to keep.
Right.
10%.
You don't want to kill anybody. You don't want to
You want them to
smother
be able to breathe
with
and all
a 50-pound
that
blanket. Mom, I can't move. Mom.
Exactly.
Although there's some parents probably would like that.
Oh, probably right about now. Mommy's on a conference call.
Mommy's busy. Have you? You work at home anyway, Stacey.
I do.
Yeah.
So this is not incredibly different, but it is sad. Like, I cannot. How many meals must I cook? Good Lord.
You need a Thermomix.
Oh, don't good.
Have you used it, Leo?
I did. I made risotto.
Oh, good. Okay.
It was a miracle. Because as you know, if you've ever made risotto, it's a time-consuming, dare I say, annoying process. Yeah, you have to add a little bit of water at a time and stir it constantly for like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. This thing is, it looks like a blender, but the thing heats up. It does other stuff. So, and it's got a scale in it. So the recipe says, okay, put 30 grams of shallots in. Okay, you put them in. And then you put the lid on and it says, turn the knob to 1. Put a pound of Parmesan or whatever in it. It grates it. And it wasn't a pound. It was a few ounces.
I'm like, yummy.
Put some Parmesan.
It grates it too.
It grates it, and then you put it aside. And then you do the shallots. I did that in order. Then you put the butter in, and it says, now turn it to this and this. And it sautés. It heats up, sautés the shallots. It's all in there, one pot. And then it says, do this. You add the arborio rice. You add a little water. You turn. It's got a mixer thing. You turn it on to dial 3 for 12 minutes. 12 minutes later, I've got perfect risotto.
Isn't it amazing?
How hard is it to clean?
It's easy.
Really?
It's a bowl.
Yeah, it's a bowl. It's as easy to clean as a bowl. It has blades in it, so it's a bowl like a blender. But like a blender, like the Vitamix, you put a little soap and water in it, and you go, and it cleans itself. So it's actually... Okay, so that's the one thing I've made.
So, Stacy, you can't have it anymore.
That's right. I made the deadline. Stacy was going to get it if I didn't use it.
I need better puppy dog eyes. I can't do it.
Yeah,
but I want to
give me your puppy. Give me your puppy dog. Oh, now I really do want to give it to her.
Now he feels guilty.
I do.
But he's not getting it. It's
still not getting it. No.
The risotto was just too good, Stacy.
No, with the pound of Parmesan, maybe he'll leave it to me in his will. Good Lord.
Dead by Thermomix poison.
Yeah, please don't eat a pound of Parmesan in your risotto. I mean, I'm sure it would be delicious. Just don't do it every night.
So, I've been doing all sorts of weird cooking experiments. So that's fun.
Y'all, I baked my first loaf of bread, and we should probably talk about Google. I'm sorry.
Is it flat? Did it come out good?
No. The first one, it came out pretty well.
Nice.
And then I did my second one today, but I grabbed the wax paper instead of the parchment paper. So
it's stuck. Yeah.
It's stuck, and we're lucky the kitchen is not on fire. So, yay, silver lining.
It's fun to bake. Everybody's doing it now all of a sudden. It's very, I guess it's an attempt to feel more grounded, I think. And if you eat enough bread, you will be grounded. You will
be so grounded.
You won't be going anywhere.
That is true.
And now Zephyr's saying I can't get yeast. It's sold out everywhere. That's right. You go to the stores, there's no flour, no yeast. But make your own. Make your sourdough.
You can make your sourdough starter. It's only going to take you 5 days or so. Just mix water and flour, and
it starts bubbling.
In a warm, sunny spot.
Oh, I have this. I have a lovely starter. It's really good. And then as I get excess stuff, yesterday I made sourdough waffles with the starter. Delicious.
Oh,
delicious.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm doing
roti, doing all sorts of stuff because every time you add flour and water, it gets bigger. But the other thing you can do is share it, and I did. I've shared it with friends, which is nice. People get Anyway, it's fun.
I did a puzzle exchange with my neighbor, and
what do? You put it on the porch, wipe it down.
We put it on the porch and then ran away. We didn't run, but
was there any way? I mean, there was a way of predicting this. In fact, I read 2 books in the last 10 years: Gina Colada's Flu, which is about the 1918 pandemic, and the Plague Within, Laurie Garrett's the Coming Plague. The Coming Plague says this is what's going to happen. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so this is not a surprise. And yet, who would have thought we'd be putting puzzles on our porch and running away for our neighbors? I mean, it's just didn't seem like we'd get to this point somehow.
But we're all together via the great internet.
Well,
yay, internet.
Thank you, internet.
And the internet says you're welcome.
And I've been going around shooting Zoom backgrounds. We're going to post those from our different studios. So that's kind of one of the fun things people are doing, isn't it? Zoom backgrounds. Sesame Street on Twitter posted today some Sesame Street backgrounds. Let me see if I can find it. That are really nice. I downloaded them because Zoom lets you put a different background. Is anybody worried about using Zoom? There seems to be a privacy concern with Zoom.
Well, there's a couple issues. There's one, Zoom bobbing. So I am worried about like now posting accessible links on Zoom. So I've locked down my Zoom
I think you can avoid that.
sessions.
Yeah, this Kara Swisher got burnt by this. She had Jessica Lesson on. But you can avoid it by going to the settings and saying, don't let, make it a private, or I don't know. There's ways to avoid it.
You need to have a password.
Yeah.
You need to have user control.
Yeah. It's just that the default isn't the most private.
Right.
And part of this is because this is a business product.
Right.
And people weren't, they're now using it for other things. So
it's used for health stuff. I think the one thing that I think is legit is that they said that it's encrypted end to end, and it's not. And I don't care about that. But if you're health oriented, then you do care about that. In HIPAA.
No, they've been notorious for a long time.
They've relaxed HIPAA rules though around this stuff.
That's right. But still, you might want privacy when you talk to your shrink. And probably
I talked to my therapist over Zoom. I was like, hello?
Maybe they shouldn't be using Zoom. There are other choices. There's Jitsi, JITSI is open source, end-to-end encrypted. You can even, if you're Andrew, you can run your own server.
Okay, my therapist is not, I'm going to be like, hi, you need to set up your own server. He's going to be like, no.
Jitsi is easier to use than Zoom. You don't even have to set up a server because it's a link and they do it in their browser. There's no software. It's WebRTC. Okay. So it's actually the easiest choice.
The good old WebRTC. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah. That's a Google technology. Yeah, it's IPDIDL. It's a Google technology. It's just in the browser with a link. Most people will find that easier than Zoom. In fact, part of the problem people have with Zoom is Zoom's always tried to make it really easy. They click the link and Zoom's up and running. And so in order to do that, they do all sorts of things that malware would do to stay persistent. They got in trouble with Apple because even after you uninstalled Zoom, they left a web server running in the background on your system at all times. But that was the thing that would catch the link at do the right thing with it. So what was the original
way back when media player?
Real Player.
Real Player. Yeah, Real Player was the one that
notorious for that. Yeah. But I think it was
What was the name of the one you just mentioned, Leo?
JITSI. It's open source. And as long as we're doing that, Sesame Street has some sunny day backgrounds. This is for Zoom. So there's the stoop. Wouldn't you love that for your Zoom background? And the trick with a Zoom background I've learned as I've been doing these, because we're taking these pictures, is nothing can be in the foreground because your head, Stacey, is going to go right there. So if you had something in the foreground, it would seem weird. There's Mr. Hooper's shop there.
That's a little cluttered for a Zoom.
Yeah, I don't like either of those. But the first one, the stoop, is great. And then there's just this with Oscar going. Just
no.
Do not do that. You would?
No.
I would 100%
psychedelic.
Do that.
Yeah. I'd end the meeting very quickly.
I would have them move back and forth, little rotating Cookie Monster heads, and Jeff would go ballistic.
You need what Jeff? Can I mention what you mentioned? Prezi video.
Oh, Prezi, you bet. Yeah, it's public. Yes.
This is really cool. So Prezi, I don't know. Some people know about Prezi. It's a great presentation tool.
It gives you. I love it, but it gives you motion sickness when people give presentations because things swoop this way. And that way. But it's a great software. It's just wonderful.
It's an antidote to PowerPoint.
The anodyne.
I like it, Stacey. An antidote to the anodyne. So Prezi Video lets you be in the presentation, which is wild. I'll show you. I'll just give you an example from the Prezi site of what a Prezi presentation looks like. I've used these, and it's nice if they're not expected. Problem is now I think people know about them.
Well, the other thing great about Prezi is that it's not serial. You can go from here to there, and you can change the paths in something. So it doesn't presume that everything is just linear.
It swoops around, but that's how you get seasick. So you have to do it judiciously.
Yes.
I think.
But you can also organize the stuff. So I've done presentations back in the day when I did them where I would change the pathways in the same material based on who I was talking to.
The other way I've used this, which is nice, is you can in real time annotate the presentation. You can modify it. You don't, most presentations are on rails. This slide is followed by the next slide, by the next slide. But Prezi, you can say, well, let's go down this path. So you can make your presentation, I've done that, really big with lots of stuff you don't necessarily want to cover. But as you're interacting with your students or with your listeners, you can change paths.
And the founders are really nice people.
Are they?
I think they're Hungarian, yes.
The negative is it's expensive.
There's a free version.
Yeah.
I think.
There's personal.
My students use it. Yeah, there's personal. My students use it.
Okay, that looks pretty
My daughter
good.
uses it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Maybe
Yeah,
they've
they
gotten.
don't.
Well,
No, they've always had a free rendition that's been good.
okay.
I forget what the preview was, but now, that was a cue.
But now there's
video. You can do with video.
Yeah. So the one you're going to want, it's either $7 a month or $19 a month. I don't give enough presentations.
Yeah, that's the problem.
To really do that, but the video. See, I mean, just if you're doing Zoom conferences, do these. Can I do this on Zoom? Or do I have to?
Yeah. So I was on a conference call where somebody, I don't know if he wants me to say who it is, so I won't. But a person you would know. There was a brainstorming call about things to do around COVID, and suddenly he just had a Corona beer bottle came up, and he said, "This is brought to you by Corona." Right? And we all were just wowed. How do I get that? How do I get that? And he said, "It's Prezi video."
Oh, that's good. I'm going to do it then, because I'm so sick of these calls. Would
we ever switch to Zoom for TWiT?
No, we've never used Zoom. We use Skype.
It doesn't let you split your tracks out.
Right.
For recording, which is a pain when you're trying to edit.
I thought it did, Stacey. I just started using it because I just started recording some stuff.
Zoom does.
Yeah, Zoom
lets you split your tracks now?
Each speaker can get a track, yes.
Oh, but then the other people have to send you their tracks? Because when I recorded them.
No, okay. I don't think so.
Well, then
I could be wrong. I didn't use this, but I saw it was in the options.
I looked at it because but it was under duress. Skype was behaving badly and I needed to record a podcast, and I just ended up recording it and having to edit without splitting tracks, which was kind of a pain.
The other weird thing is, so I'm the host. I talked to an amazing Yale epidemiologist named Greg Gonsalves, who's been a trenchant critic of media coverage of the crisis. So I'm going to try to do a series of. Oh boy, is he ever! Oh, is he great? So I talked to him for about 40 minutes. One weird thing is, so I'm the host. Leave it on, if you would, Leo, where it is. I'm the host. He's the guest. I would think that the host should be where Stacey is, but it always puts the host where I am. Minor thing. Don't you think that the
host should be on the left, you're saying?
Yeah, the host should be on the left.
As I am right now.
Yes.
It would be crazy if I were on the other side. It would just be.
Very well.
I'm usually in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. Maybe it's. Yeah, I don't know.
You know, in countries where we go left to right, maybe you're right. But
that's what I was thinking.
There are countries where they go right to left.
Maybe it's British.
Yeah.
So on the rundown under other, I have Siva Vaidhyanathan's Zoom backgrounds, which I think you're going to want to show because there's a whole series of them.
Okay, let me pull those up. And then we do have some non-COVID.
We have news.
There's actually quite a bit of it, but I will talk about that in a little bit. Just a second. So you put it. Where did you put it? Under other.
Under other. Where I put everything. I do. Bottom.
Yes, I see it. Newsweek. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
It's from Newsweek. All right. What is Newsweek these days?
Oh, I don't know. It has some stories that are okay, but then it's otherwise kind of weird.
So in my youth, I think I've mentioned this before, you were either a Time magazine family or a Newsweek magazine family, right? Mm-hmm.
Or Colgate or Pepsodent.
Yeah, but it was a little more. It was a little more political because Time was a little more conservative and Newsweek a little more liberal because it was the Washington Post company, and Time was Time Inc. But we got Life, so I'm confused. When I grew up, confused. But I loved Newsweek. I read it, from the moment that I became
a real magazine,
aware every week. It was a great weekly magazine. Then it got sold, and I don't know, some strange company owned it and all that. But so you're saying some of this is okay? Because all I remember is the horrific cover story when they went back to print, saying we've discovered this creator of Bitcoin. It's this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. It wasn't. It was just some random guy they found.
I don't know if they ever retracted it.
And they never retracted it.
Never did.
Not that I saw it. They didn't do it publicly. Maybe they did it in their secret thoughts at home at night. So journalist wins Zoom. Is this it? With distracted?
No, you scroll. That's
scroll down.
That's
he's not a journalist.
Oh, I love
that's what
this.
He's
a professor.
He used to be.
Here's.
Yeah.
So Siva is on the left, as all presenters should be. And he's using that very famous now meme of the guy walking with his girlfriend, but checking out the hot girl going in the other direction. And of course, his girlfriend's not too happy about that. But Siva is the hot girl going in the other direction.
Isn't that brilliant? I just love that.
And it honestly looks like the guy's checking out Siva's rear end. Yeah. So I'm just saying.
There's a whole bunch of them there. There's more than one.
I want this.
Isn't that great?
Siva's brilliant. I love Siva.
If you go back to the Newsweek, they put them together.
Oh, there's more in Newsweek. Okay.
Yeah.
Journalist wins Zoom. Oh, this is from Bohemian Rhapsody. He is Freddie Mercury.
Yes.
And notice, by the way, the attention to detail, Siva put on a black T-shirt.
Yeah.
So that he'd fit in with the black background. Oh, that's brilliant.
And there's more.
There's more. That's
right.
not it.
There's, I think below. No, is that it? Is that all?
This is how to do it, I guess.
That was all. I see. And then I put another thing right below that in the rundown.
Yeah. Which
just made me giggle a few minutes ago while we got on the air. I'll let you read the tweet yourself.
Man turns himself into a potato. My boss turned herself into a potato on our Microsoft Teams meeting and can't figure out how to turn it off. So she was stuck as a talking potato. I just love that. Of the meeting.
I just love that.
By the way, apparently a potato that's not been dug up. She's underground, but she does have lipstick. Oh my God.
That made me giggle so much.
Okay, we got a whole new thing going here. I didn't know you could. So you say we got some news too? Teams. Yeah, let's take a break and then there is, and I don't know if you read it. The funniest story of the week is the guy who is trying to invent a device to keep you from touching your face.
Oh, it's the greatest story. It's the greatest story.
Man.
We will save it for later.
We'll come back. Yeah, it's the greatest.
We'll save it for later.
You got to stay around. You want to come back to that.
You definitely want to stick around for that because that's goes from bad to worse. Every line of it is perfectly written. Our show today brought to you by Mint Mobile, the Fox. In fact, I'm proud of Mint Mobile. They are doing a very good thing, at least through April 14th. I suspect they're going to extend that. Mint Mobile is providing all current and new customers with free unlimited high-speed data add-ons. So no limit to your data. If you want to know more about that, if you're a customer already, mintmobile.com/unlimited. I am a happy Mint Mobile customer. Mint Mobile is what we call an MVNO, a mobile virtual network operator. They resell the connection from one of the big four, soon to be the big three. And in fact, in this case, it's T-Mobile. So you're going to get the same service you get from T-Mobile, but you're going to get it for a price you may not actually believe. This is no April Fool's joke. The reason is your bill, your wireless bill, your $70, $80, $90, $100 a month wireless bill pays for a lot more than just your wireless connection. It pays for stores and marketing and overhead and thousands of employees. Mint Mobile's reimagined how you buy wireless. They've made it all online, no stores, and the savings go right into your pocket. Every plan comes with unlimited nationwide text, nationwide talk, crazy fast 4G LTE. You choose how much LTE you want. You can bring your own phone, but port your number over. It makes it easy. They sell phones too, but you can bring your own phone and port your number. That way, even your contacts go over with it. So it's a painless transition. They'll send you the SIM for free. No charge for the SIM. And of course, if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. Here's the introductory plan. 3 months, $15 a month, unlimited nationwide talk, text, 3 gigs of data. And right now, no limit, unlimited data. So that's pretty awesome. I liked it so much. I did the trial and I said, this is good. So I bought the most expensive plan they have, which gives me unlimited nationwide talk and text and 12 gigabytes of data a month. Most expensive plan they have. I bought a year for $300. That's $25 a month. That's less than a third what I'm paying T-Mobile for the same thing. And it's guaranteed for 12 months. I love it. Cut your wireless bill down to $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. And get the plan shipped to your door free at mintmobile.com/twig. You got to check it out. mintmobile.com/twig. Twig. Do what I did. Start with the $15 a month, 3-month introductory plan. Then you can decide if you like it. Okay, maybe you should go for the. You'll know how much data you need. Mintmobile.com/Twig. Really awesome, and it just makes me wonder, why am I paying so much? To Verizon or Sprint or T-Mobile or AT&T, when you get it for so little. $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. By the way, this just crossed the wire. Thank you, J-Cup in our chat room. John Ledger has now resigned as a T-Mobile CEO.
So that's the end of an era.
Yeah. I think it's effective now, right?
April 1st. The deal was consummated. He's done. I guess consummated is probably the word.
There was a rumor he was going to go to WeWork. I think that was put to rest. He's not going to WeWork. What is he? You know him, right, Stacey? What is he going to do?
Yeah. Slow cooker Sundays? I don't know. That's what he does now. So
I really like the guy, and I think we owe him a debt, because I think with all of this crazy marketing and the magenta and he really did force the other companies to say, okay, we better cut our prices. He was a good marketer.
He was hard on them.
Great marketer.
Yeah.
And boy, his social media team, their lives were hard, because he was he was filtered like I'm filtered, like not totally crazy, but he's kind of like, let's be real.
But I think that's why people loved him. It was real.
Oh, yeah.
That is one thing I'm hoping we get from all of this. When you see the anchors, it's so funny to see them in their homes.
I love it. I just love it.
And some of them, they're all trying to look like they have nice places, obviously. But when Anderson Cooper is sitting in his book-lined Gloria Vanderbilt library, that he lives just a little bit better than the rest of us.
So my favorite was Casey Hunt, who I think is really great. In hers, I tweeted, I said I never would have thought Casey Hunt would have been one to organize books by color, because she has a red shelf and a blue shelf. And she laughed and came back. Oh, my God. Said, no, I read voraciously. I can tell you exactly where every book is, but I also like design. And then she showed me pictures of her other bookshelves around. Michael Beschloss has the killer office that I would die for. Beautiful blonde wood and stone, and oh my Lord, is it gorgeous! Yeah,
he's a presidential historian.
Oh,
and then there's Bill Kristol. Did you see Bill Kristol's office?
No.
Okay, he's sitting in front of the requisite bookshelves. Apparently, if you're going to do it, you got to have built-in bookshelves. And one side is nice and neat over here, and the other side, it looks like he just stuffed everything possible in every which way. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was, and even I think it was Anderson Cooper even said, your books. Oh no, it was MSNBC. It was Brian Williams. Your bookshelves look just like mine, said Brian, which is typical Brian Williams, because I doubt very much Brian Williams' bookshelves look like that. But
the other one used Claire McCaskill was getting horrible video, and she was on a major thing, and obviously she must have been too far away from the router. So she's now in her kitchen, which is kind of nice.
I love it.
But she's got the sink right behind her.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Me is the men who in this state are putting on a suit and tie. Maybe no pants, but a suit and tie. But
only from here up, because they're wearing sweats underneath.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, why would you?
Usually I wear pants for this show.
You get dressed up?
Today I wore sweats.
Oh, okay.
or I wore sweats because pants are not dress up.
And you're not standing up, although you did just stand up. So
I said I constantly stand up because I'm running off to do things or get coffee.
So that's my hope, is that finally we can see all these people on TV as normal people living a normal life, and kind of take them off. I don't want to knock them off the pedestal. I have respect for them, admiration. They're talented. Let them be human, because it's not healthy for us to look up at them. And I honestly, people on TV, all it takes, you get a reality show, you can be president of the United States. It's not a good value to have. Oh, he's on TV. He must be good. She must be great.
So long ago, I was one of the first to do webcam live on MSNBC.
Really? Nice.
Many years ago on Connected Coast to Coast, I think it was called. with Ron Reagan Jr. and Monica Crowley. And I used to do the blog segments. Hello, Jeff. What are the bloggers have to say about that? Well,
Jeff
Ron,
Jarvis joins us from his basement to talk about blogs.
No, so I had to go into the studio every damn time. And then one day they needed me. They had me over the segment, and it was a blizzard, and I couldn't get in. I said, guys, it's time.
We could do it.
And so I had it set up in my office in the house with books on tops of things and all kinds of stuff. And of course, it was jerky. But the CEO at the time went into the control room and said, I love it. It's just so real.
Yeah.
And so it was hot for about a month.
It didn't hurt that MSNBC was at the time owned by Microsoft, I might point out.
Yes.
I did quite a few of those hits later as well because they wanted to show off Skype and they wanted to show Microsoft products and stuff like that.
Well, this is long before.
And be techie.
Skype, but yes.
And be techie. Yeah, they wanted to be techie.
So we had some news?
Yes. I actually wanted to ask you about this.
Wait, you promised people something.
Oh, no, I'm saving that for later.
Oh, no, we got to do that.
Oh, no. I'm not doing that now.
Good cheese.
Like,
I'm not using all the good stuff up front.
Okay.
You got
don't get me wrong.
The news.
Magnet Boy's coming later.
I've got to do at least 3 moral panics before you get that reward.
Exactly. You've got to earn your dessert.
And 1 Gutenberg. And
Facebook did it.
Stacey's a little giddy today. I like this.
It's good. You know what? This is why, Jeff.
This is it. Yeah.
We're cheering her up.
She's laughing at the potato.
We're cheering her up.
Yes.
We're making her feel better.
Y'all are cheering me up.
Yeah.
Y'all are probably the most interaction I've had, since Kevin this morning. But
no, that's really.
There's 2 of y'all.
This is my hope. Initially, podcast audiences plummeted. I have to be honest with you. When this first started, I think because everybody was so concerned they were listening. I'm sure the Daily went through the roof. But I thought I kind of liked it. According to PodTrack, who does measurements for this kind of stuff, the #1 podcast to really get hit hard, my nemesis, the true crime podcasts.
Oh, right.
It got so bad for a while. We were talking to people. They said, well, do you have a true crime podcast? It got so bad. I said, Lisa, look, I have a treatment.
I just got to go kill somebody.
No, I have a treatment. So I said, I got a treatment. This is a great true crime podcast. It would be wonderful. It has to do with tech. We'll never do it, but I wanted to do.
Was it the Broadcom?
No, it was not. Nothing to do with Broadcom. Remember Adrian Lamo?
Yeah.
The hacker who died. It was supposedly a suicide, but there are some real questions. And I thought it would be a very interesting series. What happened to Adrian Lamo? Because as you go through the story, it's fascinating. He's the guy who kind of turned in Chelsea Manning, was reviled by the hacker community, but he I don't think he did it. He was on the spectrum, and I think he just said, as sometimes people on the spectrum do, this is the right thing to do. They don't. What do you just do the right thing? You always do the right thing. You don't consider the consequences, or there's no shades of gray. It's black or white. It's the right thing to do, and I think that's what he did. But he died under mysterious circumstances. His family and girlfriend never thought he committed suicide. And furthermore, and I'm giving away the best part, they found taped to his thigh a name and address.
Ooh, it's getting to the good part.
See? True Crime Podcast. I got it. It's all ready to go. Never going to do it now. Anyway, True Crime Podcast down. But the podcast's audiences are starting to come back up again. We're noticing this anyway. And it's my hope and feeling that people are looking for their friends to join them. I went down also because people aren't commuting.
Yeah.
Right? That's when
the habit was broken, but then people needed to go back to something.
But we're here. We're your friends. We're going to keep doing the show. And I think it is I hope it's somewhat reassuring to have your friends in your ear and talking about stuff stuff that's going on in our lives, but also, the news like this one. And I thought of you, Jeff, when I saw it, because you've done some work with Facebook. You're all about journalism.
Let's be clear here. I'm in no way paid by Facebook. I raised some money for the school from Facebook, which I disclose, but I don't work for Facebook.
And you had an advisory role at some time, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
According to the Wall Street Journal, they have pledged $100 million for news outlets hit by Corona. Mm-hmm. And in fact, there's been some talk about kind of how do we save local news. Now, it's not all, it's $25 million in emergency grant funding for smaller news outlets with immediate needs. $75 million in ad spending.
Is that ad spending on media? I didn't look right.
Yeah, that's my question. It would be fine if it's ad spending on those newspapers. But if it's on Facebook, this is what Google did. Basically $800 million, but it was mostly ads. So $75 million in ad spending to help news outlets of all sizes make up for expected revenue shortfall. I think that means
that sounds like it's advertising.
They're going to buy ads in those newspapers, which would be great.
Which would be great.
For what?
Mark, I don't know, whatever Facebook's selling.
For saying, see, remember when you loved Facebook?
Yeah,
remember when you liked it?
Bad.
We're not so bad, are we now, huh? You missed us, didn't you?
The Wall Street Journal quotes Campbell Brown, who of course is the face of Facebook News, she was at CNN, right, Jeff?
Yep.
Former CNN journalist. Every business is suffering now, but the news industry has really been struggling, and we are in a privileged position to be able to help. She says Mark Zuckerberg feels that getting accurate news about the virus is vital, and he has a real responsibility here. It's obviously a public relations.
Of course it is.
play.
Of course it is.
But it's a good thing.
But I emailed them today, not in any official relationship, but I won't say what they were. I had a couple of ideas about how Facebook could help. And, I think that we all got to pitch in, and they got some power here, and they've got a good moment when people are reading. So Facebook traffic, I think we said last week, was up 50%.
Yeah,
on social. And then there's another story out today. I didn't put it in the rundown. Maybe it was on the rundown. Maybe that's where I read it, Karsten. That traffic to news on Facebook is up considerably.
Yeah, so they're benefiting from the crisis.
And news is benefiting.
Yeah. This is an expansion.
No one wants to advertise against it. That's
absolutely true.
Huge problem, a huge problem, and the advertisers should be ashamed of themselves because everybody's reading it now. Every story is Corona.
You saw YouTube is demonetizing any YouTuber who just mentions it.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
That's really ridiculous.
We're done.
That's bad.
Yeah, well, we're
there's lots of brands. I mean, you'll see things like I see in my Twitter feed and on Instagram, brands putting out Procter & Gamble telling us to wash our hands and saying and I can't think of their soap brands right now, but Downy Ivory Soap wants you to wash your hands, la, la, la. Those kind of ads would play just as well on a newspaper. I mean, it's brand advertisement as opposed to something specific, but it's basically saying, I give a hoot about the world that we live in, associate my brand with not coronavirus, but information.
It's not unusual for the marketing departments to take the wrong direction initially, out of panic. Get off of this. But one hopes now, as this is, as you mentioned, a slow-moving train wreck. Over time, they'll realize, no, there's the right way to do this. And I did hear somebody say, I'm sorry, I'm quoting you without attribution, but it was really right on. Brands are going to have to remember, people will remember what they do in this crisis. This will resonate for your brand. When Disneyland says, hey, sorry, you signed up for a year pass, you got to pay us every month. Doesn't matter if the park's closed. That does not redound well.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. Some airlines saying, I can't give you your money back. We'll give you a credit. Where you want to go next month? And it's like, So these things will be remembered. And I have a feeling most brands will realize that and do the right thing. They should.
And also how you treat your employees. I mean, Walmart is now going to check the temperature of everybody coming in, and Amazon and Whole Foods had a strike yesterday. And
then Amazon fired the guy who organized the strike.
Right.
Saying, he broke social distancing rules.
Not smart.
That is really bad PR.
Yeah.
That's just terrible. And they're going to suffer from that. And that's mishandling it because there's an opportunity here to really, they're hiring 100,000 people. Walmart's 150,000 people. Who was it? Was it DoorDash? 300,000 people. I mean, these are the only jobs out there. These people, they could come out heroes here, and it's stupid to.
And I think we're going to be in this for a full year, and not quite at this level, but at some level here. And so I think that we're going to be able to tolerate the brand's behavior is not just a 1 month and it's over. Stacey, you seem to have that.
I got excited because
news.
Microsoft announced that they're going to keep their events virtual through the first half of 2021. Sorry, I don't know. I almost said 2018 for some reason.
Wow.
So all through next year. So tying into what you're saying about this lasting a long time, this is I mean, Microsoft, their executive leadership, intelligent, very good at processing information, and fairly conservative around these things. So
I think it's also maybe an indicator that even after this is over, even if after you don't have to do that, a lot of conferences are going to go virtual.
Oh, things are going to change. Education is going to change tremendously. We're talking about that, every minute now. Yeah. By the way, I tweeted today that I'm not the first to do it, I'm sure, but I have a reason I'll be clear about in a second, that Apple is the new Microsoft and Microsoft is the new Apple. Because Apple bought Dark Sky and has killed the Android app and pissing me off bad.
I tweeted about this because I am so frustrated, not actually at Apple. They're just doing what they're just Appling along. Apple's going to do what Apple's going to do.
They're not falling far from their tree.
I will say Google, I fault them for not kind of, I guess, anticipating this, and two, making the acquisitions to make their ecosystem look good and then building an ecosystem that mainstream users can appreciate and enjoy. Because it is too damn difficult to do anything within Google. I mean, Jeff, your favorite complaint about G Suite? I pay Google and I hate the service, right? This is just constant Google. They're like, we have the coolest stuff. We have created a brilliant tech solution for the world. It will make everything better. They throw it out there. They don't make it accessible to people at all. And then they wonder. They wonder why people turn to Apple. Maybe they don't. They don't care.
By the way, in defense of Google, they only did that demonetization of COVID for a week. They kind of they realized that was.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they backed down on that, and not all. Obviously, you don't want to monetize. Part of what they even said at the time is we're as advertisers, we want to protect advertisers from being associated with videos about bad things, global health crisis.
Well, what's happening too is no matter what Google does, Google is probably just responding to the advertisers. The advertisers are putting COVID on their do not buy list.
We did, in fact, from our own some of our, not all, and in fact only a handful, but get queries about that. Are you going to talk about COVID? Because we don't want to be on those shows.
Oh, jeez.
And I think that's the knee-jerk reaction. Well, we said
it is. It's the immediate. But it's life now, folks. We're living it. If you got to be there with us, and give us empathy and care about us, and that's the opportunity you have as brands.
An opportunity. To be human. Yeah, to be human.
Especially on podcasts like this.
That's our opportunity globally.
Very human.
This is our chance, all of us, to be human. Be more human, and in the good part of the human. Not the bad part. Daily usage of Hangouts Meet, 25 times this month what it was in January. 25 times.
Sucking for us at the school. Oh, are they sucking bad?
They're having a hard time. Day-over-day growth, 60% over the last few weeks.
It's bad. Now everybody's fuzzy, but now what happens is if you've got 5 people in the Hangout, everyone who's not speaking gets frozen. Oh. Until they speak again.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, I am super frustrated because I'm getting, what year are we, 2020? I'm like, why am I still having to argue with people over what online conferencing software I'm going to meet you on? Like, hey, let's FaceTime. And I'm like, I can't FaceTime. Let's Skype, let's Zoom. I'm just like,
what do we settle on?
I revert to Zoom because I have a Zoom account.
Zoom is a default.
I subscribe to Zoom this week because I'm doing these interviews and I needed to do it.
All of our sales calls are done on Zoom.
Well,
so to get back to this dark sky, because I'm as upset as you are, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
But this is almost as bad as Tiger King. There is a dark side.
How are you? Okay, Stacey, can you possibly guess how he's going to do this? Can you possibly imagine?
I'm on for the ride. Let's
go. You don't know. There is a seamy underbelly to the weather business that you don't even know. Actually, John Oliver, the only reason I know is because John Oliver did a great piece on it in, I think, November of last year. I highly recommend it. You saw on YouTube. But what's happened, and I'm going to get this wrong, so I'm going to have to, I'm vamping a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat room. But what's happened is, so there's the U.S. Weather Service. Every nation has a weather service. This is an important part of government for farmers, for disaster prediction, hurricane prediction, that kind of thing. It's important. You know this. You went through Sandy. This is important. So we have a U.S. Weather Service, and really all the other weather services are just icing on top of the data provided by the U.S. Weather Service, which is provided freely. We pay for it. Taxpayers pay for it. So everybody can get it.
That is not right.
No? Fix it.
AccuWeather creates their own models.
So does
NOAA,
Dark Sky, but the data starts with
the underlying data
starts with the Weather Service, with NOAA. Is that not right?
Okay.
Does AccuWeather? Because if you AccuWeather doesn't have their satellite. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the underbelly. This is the seamy underbelly, because everybody wants to pretend they're doing something different, and they are, because you get different forecasts.
Weather Underground gets it from.
They have weather stations, but weather stations alone are not enough. Home weather stations are not enough. You still need the satellite data that you get from the U.S. Weather Service. But the U.S. Weather Service is now run by the former CEO of the Weather Channel. And furthermore, IBM bought weather.com and is using Watson now. And I think what really happened here, Dark Sky was a Kickstarter 5 years ago. Was a Kickstarter, and they said, we want to use AI to do hyper-local. That was going to be their special sauce, hyper-local, using AI. Still had to use the NOAA data. You can't get around that. But maybe they'd use weather station data or something else. And they were a very successful Kickstarter, and then I think they got sold. I can't remember who bought them. Remember Forecast.com, and then either they merged with or they bought Dark Sky, and Forecast.com became Dark Sky.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Remember, there was a little thing, and a lot of programs now use the Dark Sky API. There's kind of a battle because there's the Weather Underground API, there's the Dark Sky API, and there's the Weather.com API. And I think what Apple was doing with this, now first of all, they didn't need a weather app, right?
No.
You don't need a weather app. So we're not sure why they bought them, right? Did they want the engineers? Is there something special Dark Sky's doing? No, I don't think so.
Not much, no.
So why did they buy this? And I think this is there is some political battle going on that we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg in the weather biz. And I think
the
that
Washington
briefing
Post
you got.
has a story on this from November.
Yeah.
And they say until recently, AccuWeather, Earth Networks, the Weather Co., and other private weather providers relied on the fire hose of data from NOAA's National Weather Service and satellite arm, as well as NASA.
The CEO of Weather Service became the guy from weather.com.
No.
No.
Now companies are finding it advantageous to produce their own data and using analytics in business-savvy ways, tailoring their forecast to specific real-world problems, such as wildfires. And now that they have their own ability to launch satellites and supercomputers and to harvest data from semi-autonomous vehicles and wearables, these new arrivals are leapfrogging the information gathering capabilities of federal databases. Blah, blah, blah,
Look
blah,
up
blah.
Louis Uccellini.
Oh, spell that.
He was the CEO of AccuWeather, and he is Donald Trump's, not weather.com, but AccuWeather, and he's Donald Trump's NOAA director. He's not a scientist. He is a businessman and a lawyer. And I'm telling you, and I watched the John Oliver bit. There's some serious stuff going on underneath the surface here. All these guys pretend we got something special.
Oh, in the 2020 budget, President Trump is asking NOAA to buy data from private companies.
Oh, what private company might that be?
I believe, yes, it could be any of those.
AccuWeather.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. So Apple's buying this because for the same reason that, I mean, when IBM bought the Weather
Channel.
Weather Channel, thank you.
Yeah.
That was very much about, that was in the same time frame
Watson.
when, no, it was actually about the benefits. It was a realization that weather data is key. This was about the same time that Climate Corps was purchased for like $1 billion something by Monsanto. And it was a coming realization that climate change was affecting the weather in increasingly disruptive ways for businesses, and we needed to be able to anticipate that. And businesses pay a lot of money, and they do. They pay a ton of money for that data.
I knew I'd get this wrong. Uccellini's the old guy. Barry Myers, whose family owns AccuWeather, is now the director of NOAA. And the concern is this intermingling of business interests and taxpayer scientific research and scientific data. So I don't know. I watched the John Oliver thing. I'm only dimly remembering this. But my point is, I think the dark sky thing is part of an overall play for this data and concern about this data. And for one thing, Apple doesn't want IBM to own it.
Yeah, I mean, and weather is one of the most essential and important, and it doesn't have the weird privacy connotations that
right.
health data has.
Right.
Which is the other big area where having data can actually really impact your bottom line. Both of those are ways to use data to make money in easily accessible ways.
It's complicated.
La, 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 la.
I'm sorry that I botched this. I should have done some research before I brought this up. But I just feel like I've been watching Tiger King, and I think the same thing is happening in weather.
I still don't understand the Tiger King thing, but that's okay.
Yeah. Where are you?
Have you watched Tiger King?
I don't understand the Tiger King.
Have you watched Tiger King? Have you watched Tiger King?
I watched
No, I'm going to be prideful that I'm never going to watch it.
You should watch Tiger King.
I didn't.
It's one of those guilty pleasure, free to watch on Netflix documentaries about the weirdest subculture ever. The subculture of people who collect big cats.
They're all over Texas, man.
Oh yeah, well, the Tiger King was in Oklahoma.
Don't you feel sorry for the cats? The whole thing. I don't want to watch it.
He's in jail now for a murder for hire scheme against the woman who runs Big Cat Rescue out of Florida. And then there's this guy in Carolina. The Tiger King had, I think at one point, 3 husbands. The guy in North Carolina has at least 8 wives. The whole thing is bizarre. And then the woman who runs Big Cat Rescue, her husband, the millionaire, disappeared mysteriously some years ago. In fact, that cold case has now been reopened because of the documentary. Because the Tiger King, Joe Exotic, says she fed her husband to the tigers.
Whoa.
No one knows. I'm just saying there is some similarity between the machinations in the big cat community and the subterfuge in the weather community.
Oh,
so what's happening with Twitter this week?
Hold on. You may have had an error. Hold on.
I had many errors. I know I did.
Oh, okay. Pac Northwest says that Meyer has withdrawn.
He withdrew, and now it's Uccellini.
Oh.
I think.
We're back
I
to
don't
Uccellini.
know. I don't know. I'm confused. Yeah, he was withdrawn.
Sorry about that, Karsten.
Yeah.
Karsten's just like,
Yeah, I know I went all over the place on that one. And I know I even said, didn't I not? Did I not? I'm going to get this wrong. So I apologize for bringing it up, but I do think there is some subterfuge in the weather community that we need to look into, including the selling of this data, this taxpayer data that is so important, frankly, for farmers, for prediction.
Yeah.
Weather
Hey,
prediction.
Dark Sky doesn't use our data, though.
I think they have to.
Did you not read the article?
Did it say they don't use any? No. You said that they have their own secret sauce.
They also use some, yeah.
But I think do they have their own satellites?
They're using satellites. There's a company called Spire that provides satellite data to these companies.
Oh, so there's private data.
NOAA satellites.
Oh. Well, shouldn't we all use NOAA's data?
No,
NOAA's
actually, the Europeans get our data is wrong a lot.
Well,
I think that's why we have such an innovative alternative weather forecasting industry.
Maybe that's it. I use Norwegian weather. YT.no.
So what do I use now instead of dark sky? So I'm so angry.
Well,
buy an iPhone, Jeff.
Yeah, isn't that to me is really terrible when you say, "Oh, and by the way, no more Android."
Yeah,
they also shut off their API. That's what.
That's more than a year from now. It's end of 2020.
Even then, they're still shutting it off.
Still a thing.
It's a shiv up the back.
Exactly my point.
I don't like
exactly my point. There's something going on. It's too. Maybe I should, instead of true crime, we should do true weather. No.
We're all just
there are some real
crickets.
weather geeks out there.
Oh my God.
Other people are geeks. They're like train washers.
Oh yeah.
Best smart
Absolutely.
home thermostat for weather geeks,
Yeah.
Ecobee.
Ecobee?
Because the chat room in Ecobee is just full of weather.
That'd be a
I
fun
love those
crowd.
guys.
What kind of cloud is that?
Ritchie?
The good
Okay.
news is there are other great weather apps, even on Android. So there are many choices.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Google. Let's talk about Chrome updates.
They're back.
Do you want to do Do you want to do? Yeah, they only put that off for like a week.
Yeah, so no big deal. I thought they were gonna. I couldn't understand. I guess it was just, hey, we're busy this week. Okay,
Yeah.
I get that. If they said that, we were doing stories. Oh my God, the Chrome updates are stopping because of take a week off.
1 week. That's all. Yep.
And we could talk about Google using AI to design chips that will accelerate AI. This is the beginning of the
It
end.
is. Once they get in that loop, you know how that goes.
This is the apes. The apes
Faster
come
and
over the
faster.
Golden Gate Bridge, and
Yep.
that's it, man. Yep.
Yep.
Is it the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
talking about the new Planet of the Apes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do the change. No, let me think about this here. What time is it? Let me do an ad and then I'll do the change log. How about that?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm out of here like 7:15 latest.
Oh my God.
And that's my time. That's my time. That's -3.
So we got 4 hours.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Our show today brought to you by LastPass. I am a LastPass fan, but now more than ever, you need the security provided by LastPass as you take your workforce home, as you prepare for your employees to work at home. You've got to figure out a way to keep them working, keep them productive, but also keep your most valuable private resources private. And that's why we use LastPass. I've always used LastPass at home ever since it started for 10 years. It's my favorite password manager. But LastPass is so much more than a password manager, especially in business. LastPass can make the transition from work in the workplace to work at home a lot easier without in any way impacting security. For one, there is already an uptick. People are horrible in coronavirus-related phishing attacks, spear phishing and regular phishing. LastPass reduces the risk of phishing because it won't autofill passwords on suspicious websites. And in most cases, your employees don't even know the password, so they can't do it either. Love that, LastPass. If you are using a VPN, you probably are, for your remote employees to access the office, LastPass adds an additional layer of security directly to your VPN through biometric multi-factor authentication. That's great. That's great. You don't want just anybody logging in. You want to make sure that's really the person you expect it to be. That's where LastPass does such a good job. It's all about authentication. Regardless of where or how your employees need access, LastPass ensures they have secure access to workplace applications using, of course, their great password manager, but also single sign-on. If you haven't checked out LastPass Enterprise's single sign-on, you owe it to yourself. It is amazing. Employees love it because it's easier. That's just an app, and they say yes, and they're in. There's no password at all, at least as far as they can see. And they have 1,200 plus apps all ready to go. They even have training videos and everything, so your employees will be up and running fast. Employees love it, and you'll love it because it's more secure than passwords. This is the amazing thing about LastPass. They do what seems obvious. They square the circle. They actually make it more secure and more convenient, which normally you can't do. It's one or the other, right? More security means less convenience. Not with LastPass. There's an offline mode, so sometimes, we're experiencing it right now. Bandwidth is spotty. LastPass doesn't stop working. Password management and multi-factor authentication will work offline. So even if your employees are in spotty areas or even offline completely, they still can get into stuff. That's important. It's great for collaboration. In fact, LastPass has that built in. You can share passwords. You can have shared folders or share them directly. We have folders for the ops department, for engineering, for business, for bookkeeping, for sales. And only the people who need those get those. But it's very easy to, onboard somebody and say, all right, you're doing sales, you have access to this folder now. It's really great. It's great for the users, but also great for the admin. You can get up and running in minutes. They have a globally dispersed, ready-to-respond support and success team. So when you're doing LastPass Enterprise, you have dedicated people to help you with your deployment. And your IT team will love it because they are in complete control. Over 100 policies they can enforce to make sure your stuff stays safe. We require two-factor. We have minimum requirements for master password, things like that. Increased security does not have to be complex. It's easy with LastPass. Start your journey today. Visit LastPass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. LastPass.com/twit as we come to you from the LastPass studios. Thank you, LastPass. By the way, on a more personal note, thank you, LastPass. Because of LastPass, we're making payroll this month, and so I'm very sincere.
Bless you. Let us all.
Yeah,
seriously.
Thank you, LastPass, and thank you for using that address so they know you saw it here. LastPass.com/twit. And now, without further ado, I'm going to pull a Karsten, and
Google change log.
I'm going to. I think if all the buttons are correctly pushed.
The Google change log.
I can do it. I
think Karsten does it faster, but okay.
Well, he's pushing the buttons while I'm doing the ad. I can't do two things at once.
Excuses. I couldn't do that. I was too distracted with impeachment. I couldn't put the buttons right. Yeah, I know. I've heard that one.
Google Duo can now support 12-person group video calls. Well, I don't know what the limit was before, but that's a lot of people. I have to say, yesterday we tried to do our staff meeting for the first time. I think we were doing it on Zoom. And Lisa's going, I can't. There's too many people in here. And that's only 20 people. It's hard to do these big conferences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, though, I used Google Duo to talk to my parents, and I have the, Nest Hub Max Display, whatever. Oh,
so you have it on the screen.
Yeah, so I had it on the screen, and it was auto-focusing, and it did such a great job.
Yeah.
It was a very good experience.
Nice.
I appreciated the hands-free thing until my mom started yelling at me for making noise in the kitchen.
We are all using this stuff like crazy now. I mean, my daughter's on Android, so I'd use Duo with her. My mom's an Apple person, so she prefers FaceTime. She could use Duo. Duo's on iOS and Android. But I do FaceTime with her. Yeah.
Have you tried to tell an Apple person to download Duo?
No. But the funniest thing is I'm talking to my dad, who's on FaceTime. My daughter is on Duo, and he's on the screen here. I'm holding her up to the camera so we can all three of us talk because we couldn't conference. And then I put a mic, but it worked. I wish I had a picture of it because it was the silliest thing you ever saw. But he was able to talk to her. She was able to talk to him.
So meanwhile, I need your advice. This is a radio show level question.
Yes.
My father, who's 94, he's deaf as can be. His hearing aids aren't working. And then now so I said, can we email you, Pa? Oh, no, I can't get on the internet. So we're going to be in no communication at all with him at some point.
Oh, no.
So here's the question. I asked son Jake yesterday whether it was a Chromebook or a Windows machine. He's Windows.
Yeah.
Is there a way for me to set up the machine here, change the name of my SSID and password because I know what his password is, set it all up, and have one button, just one, that he can use to go and get email from us?
To get email?
Any advice about that?
Yeah, but it's going to be fragile. That's the problem.
Can you send him a hotspot? Would you pay for it and send him a hotspot?
So does he have internet?
He has internet. Yeah, he has internet. Just he did something wrong with his laptop.
He screwed up his laptop.
He uses AOL still.
So you have, well, that's problem number one.
Yeah.
So what you would want to do is set up a dedicated Gmail account that he could easily get to.
That's the only thing the machine can do. And he can get to it, and that's it.
I wish
he'll screw it up when
you could send him an iPad because you can pin an application. This is more parental control, but you can say, and Android will do this too, I think. You can pin an application that's just the only application. And without the parental code, they can't ever exit that application. So basically, it's a dedicated iPad.
Oh.
I don't know if you can do that with a Chromebook. I wish you could.
Or Windows, yeah.
Well, but in Gmail, doesn't it now? I know that mine asks me for a new password, like me to re-enter my password, like every month.
Oh, that's right.
So we actually, I think we're getting an advertiser that does a senior PC, because this is a...
Ooh, that's brilliant.
This is a really common problem. I get this call on the radio show all the time. And this is exactly what you want. You want big buttons. You want a few functions. You don't want any way they can screw it up. I think it's called Sirona, because I remember we were going, my Sirona. Let me see if I can find it.
You got a little bonus here?
Yeah, well, because I don't think they've even signed up yet, but I was talking to them. Let me see if I can find it.
No. How do you spell that?
That's the question.
It's not Seroma. That's prosthetic rust reconstruction or barbed ribbon for tension closure.
I've seen
hematomas and no.
Yeah, I got it wrong. Maybe I have the name wrong.
All right. Well, next show.
Yeah. I should.
Oh, Telekin.
I've seen the Telekin and I've seen the Wow, and I think both of them are a little more complicated. Both of these require a monthly subscription, just so you know.
Right.
But that's the idea of these, is that they are very simple. Most of the time they're running Linux, because you can completely configure it.
Because you can control it.
Yeah. And have a new user interface. Windows would be the worst, because there's no way. But you're right, Stacey. You'd have this issue of Gmail every once in a while saying, well, just for security, what's your password?
Yeah, and I don't know if I mean, like, obviously I have mine set up for, MFA and all kinds of things. So I'm like, is there a don't ever ask me again setting on
I feel like there might be.
Gmail?
Let me ask Lisa, see if I can. What's the name of that senior PC?
Jitterbug. No,
there's a Jitterbug phone. Yeah. Somebody's saying Jitterbug PC, but I don't know. I don't know if that's.
All right, we'll keep going with the change log.
I do think that, by the way, an iPad is probably a really good choice for.
But the idea of not having a keyboard and typing on the screen will throw him for a loop.
Keyboard, you can. They also offer keyboards. It's not inexpensive.
But they're $400.
The new one is $350. This one's only $150.
And I just said I don't like Apple.
Yeah, well, maybe it's time to get over that, huh?
Okay, I'm going to let y'all argue about that.
So my father gets dark sky and I don't.
Yeah, Dad'll get dark sky. Google.
Know what the weather's like.
Doesn't matter.
You know what your dad's going to say? Just look out the window, you lazy son of a gun. Google rolls out.
The apartment is always literally 90 degrees. Yeah. Literally, the thermostat is set to 90.
Well, does he like it?
Oh, he does, but it's torture visiting him.
Well, but he likes it.
He likes it. It's fine.
It's like The Big Sleep, the Humphrey Bogart movie, where he goes to visit the guy and the guy lives in a greenhouse where it's humid and hot. These old bones need to stay warm. Google has, I'm a little worried about this one, and I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but Google Drive is about to change a little bit starting September 30th. It's not imminent. All your files will live in one folder.
Oh, no.
So now you have access to something called Google Drive Shortcuts. You know how shortcuts work on Windows and Macintosh?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So this is the Drive folder structure is going to change in September, which I think is potentially a disaster. All your files will be in a single folder. It's no longer possible to place files in multiple folders, but you can use the shortcuts. And I haven't seen this new setup.
Oh, so you don't have one folder for everything you own. Just a file can only be in one folder.
All your files will live in one place. Yeah, one place only.
No.
So
let's say this. Let's just put clarity. You can have 25 folders.
I hope so.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you only have one folder.
A file.
With shortcuts.
So right now I have
draft could only live in one place.
Yeah, right now I have a Twitch shows folder. And it's kind of like shortcuts. That file lives there and in other folders, which is not how file systems work in the real world. So maybe it won't be so confusing. Shortcuts will solve that. That's how we do it in the real world.
All right. That's fine.
You did mention already Chrome updates coming back. Good. Bloomberg had a story. I don't know if this is a problem or not. I'm curious. Since you hate Apple.
Oh, yeah. Get me in trouble. Why don't you?
Since you hate it, you're an Apple hater.
Thanks a lot.
Mark Gurman, who writes a lot about Apple on Bloomberg, points out that App Store rules prevent Google's Stadia and similar services, the upcoming Microsoft xCloud, NVIDIA's GeForce Now, from working on iOS. You cannot get the Stadia app on iOS because Apple's rules prohibit services that rely on streaming from the cloud. So you could, I guess one could say it's anti-competitive. Apple's got Arcade. They don't want these other services on there. I'm going to guess, in fact, I asked MacBreak Weekly yesterday, I asked the folks, and they said, and I think they probably agree with them, this is just an old rule. And at some point, especially if Mark Gurman and others start talking about this, Apple will say, yeah. Of course you should be able to have gaming services on there. But as of right now, Google Stadia is an Android, you got to use Android if you're going to do it on a mobile device. No Red Dead Redemption 2 for you.
I don't know what that is.
Nobody knows. Nobody cares. When asked, GeForce Now, a spokesperson said, ask Apple. Apple said, of course, customers enjoy great apps and games from millions of developers and gaming services that can absolutely launch on the App Store if you follow review guidelines. I suspect Apple will change this, but for right now, that is a little anti-competitive. Stadia not on iOS. And you wanted this story, and I'll let you do it, Jeff. Maybe it's Stacy. Google using AI to design chips to accelerate AI. Yeah, she's the chip maker.
That's a very Stacy story. That's not a Jeff story.
Oh, no, I just brought it up as a possible story that actually dealt with Google. I think it's interesting. It's basically saying, hey, neural networks are so inexplicable. Let's let them design their own hardware that will optimize. And Google actually tried this out, and they built a TPU that.
Wow. And then we really won't know how it works.
Yeah, we do, because you can, with a chip, there is a physical process that you can break down. But the idea is that this will help. One of the challenges right now in the world of chip design from design to an actual functioning chip. It can be like as long as 2 years, maybe 18 months if you're really awesome, right? But and part of that is because a human being has to figure out how to put all the pieces together and make sure they work together. AI can do that much faster. And with neural networks, they change so much. The workloads are not staying as stable as they used to be, right? So this can get you from design to hardware. It speeds up the design process. So it gets you from design to hardware faster, which is a good thing. So that's, and they're using reinforcement learning for this, which is basically the same type of learning they use to teach DeepMind how to play games, which is like, here's your goal. Go meet it.
I love that, because that's real AI. That's not some programmer saying, well, if this happens, you do that. That's the AI teaching itself. Finally, you may remember that last fall, Apple banned InfoWars, Alex Jones' app, from the App Store, but inexplicably, Google continued to allow it, despite the misinformation. I guess Alex Jones finally went too far. Wired says that Jones disputed the need for social distancing, shelter-in-place, and quarantine efforts, and Google finally snapped and banned the InfoWars app from the Google Play Store. So took them a little while, but they finally realized this is a bridge too far. And that is the Google changelog. Oh, darn it.
Play the drums, Stacy. Play the drums.
I was like, we're getting there.
Come on, you could have done that.
I thought it was so good. I thought it was so good. I had it all queued up. I had it in preview. Just had to press the right button. Boom. That's the Google changelog. In case you didn't notice, I'm doing this all by myself. Carson's at home.
Hi, Karsten.
Kevin's at home. Our technical director's at home. We have one engineer in the studio at any given time because we don't want to take any chances. We're trying to protect our team.
We don't want you to infect anyone,
or for them to infect me. Wouldn't like that. I know you're a Wyze fan, Stacy. Is this a big story? They updated their firmware to allow you to turn a Wyze security camera into a webcam?
I don't know if it's a big story. It's a story. I actually was going to do it, and then I got distracted by going outside while it was sunny.
It's interesting that they could do that with a firmware update. That's pretty cool.
I mean, all they did was change the zoom. So the zoom, it's closer now, and I think they changed your field of vision. So it's
that's all they did? Oh, well, never mind.
Well,
I thought it was something more complicated than that. Oh, we just zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's and they narrowed the field of view, so it's not,
It looks better.
It looks like
and it's really because there are a lot of people working from home may not have a good camera, and now they do.
There are tons of people. Cameras are sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I'm taking this home because I want to play with the idea. A lot of people have point and shoots. And so in many cases, your point and shoot can be modified to become a better than usual webcam. So this is a Canon point and shoot.
I was wondering why you grabbed that.
Yeah. That's why
What do you have to feed it through to make it a webcam?
It's actually not super complicated. We had seen this at CES. Aunt Pruitt and I had seen it at CES because Canon was pushing this as a potential for a webcam. Because it has zoom and it's got better optics. It's
Maybe I wouldn't be pink.
Maybe you wouldn't be pink. It's the M20. But there are a couple of things that you got to do. For one, you have to have an HDMI cable. It has a mini or a micro HDMI. I don't know what they call it, but there's a small HDMI out. So you have to have a cable that'll go from that to something else. In this case, this is HDMI. I'm going to take an HDMI cable and plug this into a switcher, but you could also plug it into your computer. So this is a little adapter. And then there's one other thing we had to get, which was a battery. Most of these guys, you can't run them live. Because the battery will die. So we had to get a special adapter and you can buy these on eBay, and I bet you could still get these on eBay. So it's a dummy battery. This isn't a real battery. It's the same size and shape as a real battery, but notice it has a hole in the end so that you can put a power adapter into it. And now you can run it continuously. And it doesn't go to sleep. It does have.
How much does that little?
Oh, these are like $10 on eBay or less.
No, the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing. I think this is a $200 point and shoot, something like that.
Whoa!
But it's a real camera too. I mean, it's actually a very good.
So I wouldn't be pink?
Well, I can't promise you that.
Oh,
nobody can promise you that.
I don't want to be.
Yeah,
pink.
This is maybe.
It's not easy being pink.
I have to look at the price. It might be $400. This is the EOS. Oh. It might be $1,000. I don't know. The EOS M200. But it has what you're looking for in any camera.
$549.
All right, never mind. Forget it. It's a pretty good camera. What you're looking for is live HDMI out, live video out, which means that while the camera's on, you can see what's going on.
So that if I put that HDMI into this nice little Mac you gave me here.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
It should see it as a, I don't know.
We'll see it as a camera to put in Skype?
It should see it as a camera to put in Skype, yeah. But you may already have, but you may already have, I mean, if you take pictures at all, you probably have a point and shoot that might be able to do that. You're looking for live HDMI.
It just needs the HDMI video.
Yeah. And you may need a battery with this power battery adapter, the dummy battery, because
I'm tired of being pink.
Well, what are you using right now?
The Logitech.
Okay, it's not the. Yeah, that's not a bad camera. I don't know.
I love this camera. I look great.
Because you look really great. Easy for you.
She's better looking than you are, Jeff.
I know. I
don't have to wear very much makeup at all.
I think it's a great camera. Jeff, there's something wrong with Jeff. We don't know.
You know what I think the problem is? I think my hair causes a white balance problem.
Maybe.
I'm serious.
That's true.
His hair is so light.
No, that's a good thought.
The camera is balancing on your hair.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Why don't you dye your hair brown?
Yeah, do it for us, Jeff. You could be purple like Stacy.
Jeff is like, I'm not purple.
Well, you were, weren't you, briefly?
I was blue.
Blue.
No, I was blue for 4 years, 5 years.
Not so briefly.
I felt like it was a long time.
Yep.
Sorry, I dropped my worry bird, you guys.
What's your worry bird? Let me see that. What is that?
It's my worry bird.
It's just a little wren that you squeeze. Isn't going to kill it?
No, it's wood.
Doesn't have much life left in it. Oh, I'm thinking of mice and men. It's dead, George.
Yeah, this is not a Lenny. It's not a Lenny moment.
Can I ask you about a story? Because I don't subscribe to the information because I'm poor.
Yes, I have the information. Yes.
The Amazon story. So Amazon and Walmart suspend commerce marketing deals. Is that affiliate sales that they're getting rid of? Like I can sell cameras on my blog, or is that
publishers
stove, or what is?
I don't think so. Publishers are bracing for a pullback in advertising amid a COVID-19 pandemic. We've been speaking about that. And one big shoe has already dropped. Amazon and Walmart have temporarily suspended commerce marketing deals with digital media firms such as BuzzFeed.
Okay, keep going. What does that mean? Then it gets the paywall, and I couldn't figure out what that meant.
So I think it's affiliate links.
It is affiliate. Jesus. That's why I've been pushing publishers to do that as a whole new
that's a big deal.
Revenue stream.
BuzzFeed, according to the information, gets 20% of its revenue from affiliate links.
Ouch, ouch,
Half of it comes, but only half of that. So 10% comes from Amazon and Walmart. So that's a 10% haircut.
Because BuzzFeed has its own bespoke products like the stove.
With some deals, including the ones with BuzzFeed, the retailers guarantee a minimum level of payment regardless of traffic. So when I do an affiliate link, I get a percentage of the sales. Mm-hmm. But apparently they've got a richer deal going with some of these guys.
Yeah,
where they're guaranteeing a minimum level of payment. That, according to the information, explains why Amazon and Walmart have suspended payments. Now the publisher...
That's another kick to the gonads for the news industry.
Yeah. BuzzFeed says, we think it's going to be short-lived. Once lockdowns ease and people's lives return to normal, the publisher says they're going to start buying things again. So I think that's the issue, is that the affiliate revenues dwindled, but the guarantees mean those payments have to keep up, and they're just saying, look, we can't guarantee it. We don't have such a deal, but we do affiliate links from time to time, I think. So...
okay, thank you for that.
That's the story, Morning Glory. And that made it well worth buying the $400 a year subscription. Very sad story. And I do not know Jack Schofield, but I know many people do. He was the Guardian. Did you know him?
I think I met him a couple times.
Yeah, he was the Guardian's tech guy. The Guardian is a great publication, theguardian.com. He did the Ask Jack tech column. He was kind of like their Walt Mossberg.
For you.
Or me, yeah. He started covering tech 35 years ago. He had one of his first stories in 1983 was how to buy a home micro, which is what they called them in those days. He recommended the BBC Model B, the Acorn, for 400 pounds, or for 100 pounds, the Sinclair Spectrum. Those are great classic computers. So he did not pass away of COVID, though. It was a heart attack, but he was only 72.
Vince Cerf has COVID, or is recovering.
I saw that.
COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Very, very worrying, because, of course, Vince, an older gentleman, the father of the internet, responsible, kind of co-author some of the key protocols for the internet, including TCP. Did you see whether he is seriously ill? I didn't think he was.
No, it doesn't sound like he's recovering. So
he's recovering. Okay.
We'll hope that continues.
This is just the beginning. This is the anticipatory grief. This is just the beginning, though. And I don't know if you watch the obituaries on CNN that Anderson does every night, but it's just devastating. I shouldn't be watching it.
Nope, not going to watch that.
But I also feel like these people need to be remembered.
I will remember them later.
Yeah. So, speaking of The Guardian, their story, astrophysicist gets magnets stuck up nose while inventing coronavirus device, caught my attention the other day. Shall I read it to you?
Oh,
It
please
is
do.
an excellent
It's so
story.
beautiful.
Please.
An Australian astrophysicist has been admitted to hospital after getting 4 magnets stuck up his nose in an attempt to invent a device that stops people touching their faces during the coronavirus outbreak. Dr. Daniel Reardon, a research fellow at a Melbourne university, was building a necklace that sounds an alarm on facial contact when the mishap occurred last Thursday night. The 27-year-old astrophysicist who studies pulsars and gravitational waves says he was trying to liven up the boredom of self-isolation with the 4 powerful neodymium magnets. Stacy, how powerful are those neodymium magnets?
Very powerful.
Very powerful.
They can rip your intestines in two.
If you've ever had them, they're really fun to play with. But boy, when you
Yeah.
put them close to each other, they go wham! He says, I have some electronic equipment, but really no experience or expertise in building circuits or things. I had a part that detects magnetic fields. I thought if I built a circuit that could detect the magnetic field and we wore magnets on our wrists, then it could set off an alarm if you brought it too close to your face. A bit of boredom and isolation made me think of that. However, The Guardian goes on, the academic realized the electronic part he had did the opposite and would only complete a circuit when there was no magnetic field present. I accidentally invented a necklace that buzzes continuously unless you move your hand close to your face, he said. So, after scrapping that idea, I was still a bit bored playing with the magnets. It's the same logic as clipping pegs to your ears, clothespins to your ears. I clipped them to my earlobes and then clipped them to my nostril, and things went downhill pretty quickly when I clipped the magnets to my other nostril. He said he placed 2 magnets inside his nostrils and 2 on the outside. I was hoping I could get through this. When he removed the magnets from the outside of his nose, the 2 inside stuck together. Unfortunately, the researcher then attempted to use his remaining magnets to remove them. At this point,
having researched, like called somebody and said, what do you do when this happens? You use a magnet to get a magnet out. Oh, okay.
At this point, my partner who works at a hospital was laughing at me, he said. I was trying to pull them out, but there is a ridge at the bottom of my nose that you can't get past. After struggling for 20 minutes, I decided to Google the problem. There's his mistake right there. And found an article about an 11-year-old boy who had the same problem. The solution in that was more magnets to put on the outside to offset the pull from the ones inside. As I was pulling downwards to try and remove the magnets, they clipped onto each other and I lost my grip. And those 2 magnets ended up in my left nostril while the other one was in my right. At this point, I ran out of magnets. Probably a good thing. Before attending the hospital, Reardon attempted to use pliers to pull them out.
But
they became magnetized by the magnets inside his nose. Every time I brought the pliers to my nose, my entire nose would shift towards the pliers. And then the pliers would stick to the magnet. So he'd put them there and they go. It was a little bit painful at this point, he reports. My partner took me to the hospital that she works in because she wanted all her colleagues to laugh at me. The doctors thought it was quite funny, making comments like, this is an injury due to self-isolation and boredom. At the hospital, a team of 2 doctors applied an anesthetic spray and manually removed the magnets from Reardon's nose. By the way, it's not over quite yet. When they got the 3 out from the left nostril, the last one fell down my throat, he said. That could have been a bit of a problem if I swallowed or breathed in, but I was thankfully able to lean forward and cough it out. Needless to say, I am not going to play with the magnets anymore.
It is the greatest story, isn't it?
So, just a word of warning.
Kids, don't try this at home.
These are the same injuries that small children have playing with.
Yes.
And they're very serious because, again, if they swallow them, it will rip through your intestines.
Oh, yeah.
But for a grown astrophysicist.
Yeah, you should never let kids play with these super magnets. They are really problematic. Here's a picture just to complete the story. Here's a picture.
In his full humiliation.
Of Dr. Daniel Reardon in the hospital after removal of the magnets from his nose.
I give him a lot of points for confessing.
It is one of the funniest stories I've ever. And then also they have the medical discharge summary.
Denies further magnets.
2 hours ago, had 2 neodymium 7mm in diameter strong magnets up bilateral nostrils, stuck to each other via septum, bilaterally attempted removal, tried using 2 other magnets up left nostril, ended with 3 magnets up left nostril, 1 up right, all stuck together via septum, denies difficulty breathing, denies further magnets. We needed that. Let us wrap things up with Stacy's pick of the week. Stacy?
Oh, Stacy.
You are the only Stacy in the room.
Oh, Stacy.
Do you not have a pick?
No, I don't have a pick.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I can come up with a book I'm reading.
Well, what are you reading? Or, it can be these days a TV show, a book, anything. Honestly.
Well, so I bought Ken Liu's, hold on, I'm going to tell you what it's called. The Hidden Girl.
The Hidden Girl.
So I love Ken Liu as a writer. He wrote The Paper Tiger, which is a collection of short stories that was phenomenal. It's really good. I think does he work at Microsoft? He's very similar. He's in the tech industry. He writes very well about near-term issues in short story. They're science fiction stories. So his new book is out, or it was out last month. I don't remember, but I bought it and I just started reading it. For those of you guys who like science fiction that is based in fact, or could be plausible, he's wonderful for that. And this particular book is great because it's short stories. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I have a hard time really it's hard for me right now to dig into a novel and stay there. So I'm appreciative of the fact that I can escape for a little bit and then come back up and cook more food for my family because they're eating all the time.
Problem is right now life is a squirrel.
I was like, what?
Squirrel.
Well, it could be worse. It could be a Tiger King. I think that honestly, this is one of the benefits of this. Reading, cooking, all of the humble things that we're doing, making face masks, I think are good. I think it's not so bad. It's hard, I understand, and for a lot of people economically really bad, and for others health-wise really bad. So I don't want in any way diminish that. But if the upshot of this is you get more cooking and reading time, that doesn't sound so bad.
Oh yeah, and we're having a lot of fun. I know I tweeted about spraining my ankle. I thought I had broken my foot playing Just Dance with my family, but it was just a sprain. We were fine.
There are risks.
And yeah.
Here's Ken's website, by the way. It's kenliu, liu.name. And here's The Hidden Girl. I always appreciate book recommendations. Always looking for new books.
Well, and if you haven't read it, The Paper Menagerie has some wonderful stories. There's a story it's very poignant. It's about somebody who works in a tech company. His child died in basically recreating her in software and holograms. And it was just so moving.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you. That's a perfectly legitimate recommendation. Always welcome.
I read a lot.
Yeah. And now, Jeff, your pick of the week.
I'm going to cheat. like Stacy did. Because if Stacy cheats, I can cheat. So the number is 2.
2.
As in it takes 2 to make a couple. Even in this time of coronavirus, a drone can bring love together. Romance via drone. It's a kind of nice little board panda story of a guy who sees a woman in New York on the roof across dancing.
Aww.
And he says a story about a quarantined cutie. Not so sure about the cutie thing, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So she's over there, and they kind of make eye contact. And so he then gets a drone out and sends the drone over with his phone number.
Okay, Stacy, what do you think? Creepy?
I mean, does the drone have a camera? That's
they're visible to each other.
He could have wadded it up in a paper ball and thrown it.
No, they're across the street, Leo. That's a long distance.
Okay, could have put a rock in it.
He could have hit the
rock
poor
through your
woman.
window is very creepy.
Okay,
That
is
I'll
creepy.
say, if you do it once and you acknowledge that it's a little over the edge, it's probably okay in this particular
It's
time.
cute. And she could have just said, thing is
She could have had a drone jammer and then been like,
shot it down.
That's the way you want to end the story, because it's moral panic. Yes. So he does that, and then she texts him, and they get along in the texting, and then they have dinner together, each on their own roof.
Aww.
Which is
Nice.
kind of sweet.
That's sweet. It may not
kinda
be
nice.
sweet after the quarantine ends.
No, it may not be at all. Yeah. You find out
I mean,
that
what if
actually.
it smells bad? Or,
Yeah, right?
Well, that
He's-
is a problem. Stacey, you got a point. In the story, the first picture of him is without a shirt.
Oh, boy.
Problem. I was talking to some professors the other night in a happy hour, and they said they've had to tell a few people
Put your shirt on.
Wear a shirt. Put a shirt on.
Really? Why? Are people not wearing shirts? Is
like in
is
their
that a side
conferences,
effect?
in video conferences?
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh, those are like all those shirtless runners. I don't see them up here because it's too cold. But in Texas, we had a lot of those.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that one cotton picking bit.
I mean,
So
even
that's my
if you
number.
look
It takes
amazing,
2
I
to
feel like
drone.
you should have.
Yeah, it's not the right thing. No, it's not the right thing to do. No.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Well,
fine.
actually, there's quite a few drone stories. I was just looking at USA Today. There's the minister who married a couple from the 4th floor window via drone.
How could he just not stand 6 feet apart and just say,
Yeah.
"Hey"?
Because it's New York. You know? You
The
gotta do things big.
the quarantine cutie is actually a TikTok thing. So he's
Didn't know that.
posting it on TikTok, according to USA
says
Today.
Stacey.
Yeah, 8 million views on Twitter. It's a little weird.
I don't really want to date anybody who's in their own hamster ball, but that's just me.
It's a very modern story. You gotta acknowledge that.
I'm just gonna eye roll. That's what you get there.
Have you? I know both of you have to do a lot of research, and when I saw this, I thought of you. Have you ever heard of Zotero? Zotero. It's an open source project, a research assistant in
That presumes you
no.
want to be organized.
in a box, Mac, Windows, or Linux. As you can copy research, it'll actually automatically pull the article from JSTOR or archive.com. You can scan ISBN numbers. It will automatically pull in the references.
Ooh, and it creates an automatic quick bibliography.
Yep.
Chicago or MLA style.
Your choice. It supports
I use
over.
EasyBib. It's what a great thing.
It supports over 9,000 citation styles. I didn't even know there were 9,000.
Yeah, I know they're awful. These academics.
That's great.
This is why I didn't go into an academic career right there. Bibliographies.
I like it because it's free. It's open
Now
source.
it's easy.
You can buy storage from them, or you can run it yourself. Looks like I just thought I thought of you. I just thought of you guys when I saw it. I don't
I'll
do
check that out.
research. I don't need a research.
Yeah, that's cool.
As you could tell with my weather story, I don't research.
My research is basically like clipping things into a Google Keep document.
Well, that's
and
what
then
this
putting
is.
them in folders.
Yeah, that's kind of
So-
what this is. So you'd have a central store for all of that. I don't know.
Mine is Google Keep.
Yeah.
I used to
a little more
actually have
structured.
folders where I would print things out. which then felt very serial killer. So
yeah,
I
you don't
stopped.
want a big stack of paper. Zotero.org. And that concludes this. I thought it was a very nice edition.
It actually was.
A fireside edition with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, something funny, something sad, something poignant. Thank you all for being here. We need each other. We like to hang out with each other. We do this show Wednesdays, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. That's 20:30 UTC. The live stream is at twit.tv/live, as with all of our streams. In fact, we stream 24/7. So even if there's not a show being produced at any given time, there'll be something going on at that channel, audio or video, twit.tv/live. On-demand versions of the show, nicely trimmed and edited and all that, are available at twit.tv/twig, twit.tv/twig, or on YouTube, or you can ask your assistant. You could say, hey, Goog, play that This Week in Google podcast, and it'll likely play it. You never really know what'll happen. But we do want you to listen, and we also would love you to subscribe. That way you'll have it automatically. You don't have to go through this rigmarole. Just find your favorite podcast app, subscribe, and you'll get it the minute it's available on a Wednesday evening. Thank you so much, Stacey Higginbotham. You'll find her and her fabulous podcast at stacyoniot.com. She's at GigaStacy on the Twitter. You still love the Twitter?
I still love the Twitter. I'm posting my bread experiments there, plus
nice.
any fun things that I see.
Oh, nice.
Yum.
Yeah. Jeff Jarvis, he's also a Twitterer at Jeff Jarvis. He's also
indeed, to a fault.
A blogger at buzzmachine.com and a regular at the City University of New York at the Craig Newmark Broadcast School of Journalists Graduate School.
CBS, School of Broadcasting websites.
Not affiliated with CBS. Remember that? The Columbia School of Broadcasting?
Yeah.
They always had to say, not affiliated with CBS. Thank you. I did not go to the Columbia School of Broadcasting, by the way. I'm not affiliated with CBS either. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next time on This Week in Google. And as we have to say now, from now on, stay safe, wash your hands, and go home.
Snort maggots. No, don't snort
What?
maggots.
No. Dude, what was it? Snort them or don't snort them?
Don't snort them.
Don't snort them. Very important.